good afternoon, Tuomo. The title of the session is How Data Spaces Can Be Built, Make Cross-Industry Data Spaces Happen. Well, cross-industry. And we know that the Finns are a trailblazer when it comes to digital economy in general, and they are doing so in the realm of data spaces. So there's a lot to see, to witness, and to learn. And well, that is what the colleagues will show us. And well, it's always great content. So therefore, I will hand over to Tuomo Tuikka from VTT in Finland. And Tuomo, it's great to have you here. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Lars. It's a great pleasure to be here with you and having this slot to talk about what we have been doing here in Finland. It's great to, and thank you very much for the great IDSA summit also. It's been a pleasure to follow that. Yeah. So I will just open with some slides here and give a short introduction to what is here coming now. It's and I'm really very delighted that we have this great audience and interesting speakers today in the session of this Make Cross-Industry Data Spaces Happen, and cross-sectoral data sharing is an issue emerging now more and more, and definitely it is an issue that can increase the value for data economy, that's for sure. And it's really very essence of doing so. And now that that we have now come a long way in our journey from silo-based information systems design, like some time ago, and towards cross-sectoral data sharing systems development, and it is really not easy to many stakeholders, and transformation in activities in the network system, and taking into consideration what happens if you move one part of that system. So apparently we need instruments to design the ecosystem, and also technologies that help us in implementing and running an actionable data space. And IDSA approach provides these opportunities to design these cross-sectoral data spaces. It is pretty much agnostic to sectors, and that is really the power of that. And in order to create the convergence of the participants is needed. They need to somehow find their ways in order to do the very same things in a orchestrated manner, and that is really the only way. And so everybody needs to converge to the standardization, find their roles and means to facilitate data sharing ecosystem. And next you need to find the ways to grow the data space and experiment gradually your way through and convince others that this is the best way to approach. And here now, in this session we have 3 talks. First, Markus Taumberger is opening up with convergence towards the cross-industry data spaces, and then second, we will hear thoughts on utilizing the ideas with flexible factory automation by Janne Kivinen of Fastems and Ilkka Niskanen from VTT, and third, Mikko Sierla from Vastuu Group and Ilkka Niskanen will talk about understanding cross-industry data sharing. So I think with these words we can start, and I would like to ask Markus Taumberger to the podium. Are you there available? I can see you. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. So I will give a short presentation on the motivation from VTT and what we are doing towards the cross-sectoral data spaces. So just for those who don't know us yet, VTT in brief, we are a research organization here in Finland, and we are collaborating with a lot of industrial partners in Finland and around the world, and we are bringing together people, business, science, and technology. And we have more than 2,000 employees, and we are a highly academic organization and owned by the Finnish Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment. And we are having a lot of innovation ecosystems, and we are interdisciplinary platform, and that puts us into a very good spot for driving the cross-sectoral data space activities, because we are in contact with all the different areas, and we are able to bridge them together. And that is one of the strong motivations why we are active in that area. And during the data revolution, we are also key players in the big activities of Gaia-X and IDSA, and we are already, since many years, IDSA member. We are the Finnish IDSA hub. We are now an implementation partner also for the IDSA, and we have then joined the Gaia-X as a day one member. We are a technical partner of the Finnish Gaia-X hub, and we are active in the different Gaia-X committees. So we have several members in the technical committee, and we are also having a Gaia-X board member from VTT. Now, why do we need IDS, and why we at VTT also believe in it, and why we are contributing and driving this activity? So there are some major data trends happening, and data is really the lifeblood of economy, and there are value co-creation networks that are the future. And then on the other hand, we are seeing that owners' rights are not respected, and there are some big platform companies that are dominating the business. And we are seeing that IDS is a very good option for helping to create alternatives here and to bring Europe back into a leading position. Now, as a background, we see that things are approaching from two sides. We have the Industry 4.0 movement with IoT and digital twins on the one hand, and then we have the open data experiences driven by the semantic web. And these two have led to data-based value co-creation on the one side and to the data economy on the other side. And what brings them together is the trusted data sharing and the data sovereignty that is needed for making this possible. So that leads then to two separate offerings. It's the data economy and the digitalized value co-creation. Then we are seeing a big transformation that is wanted by the EU. So breaking up the big verticals into a more diverse players and allowing more competition in the area. And IDS fits perfectly into this scenario. We are seeing coming from the Commission domain regulations, the EU Data Governance Act and the EU Data Act that will all work towards this. Now at VTT, we are having a IDS testbed that we are building up in order to continue the work on the IDS ecosystems. We have now connectors and brokers operational, and we are running the first projects with our partners. And you will then see after my presentation two of these use case examples. We are also continuing to extend the testbed to make it also supporting the identity management. And this is important for us to create a cross-sectoral VTT research data space that will allow us to, first of all, connect the several project data and other databases and data lakes together with customer data and make it possible to develop apps that are using all this data, and they can be of cross-sectoral nature. And with that, we are expecting that we can focus on new applications that are breaking up the data silos and allowing us to create new businesses. Now, if we look at the timeline, we are seeing it the following way, that we have had in the early 90s the internet emerging, and then it became mobile through the mobile through the mobile standards. And now we are seeing that the same is happening with data, and the goal will be networked AI. And in order to achieve that, we need seamless access to data. So the data networks are key to that. And the IDSA is a key building block of this future. And that's why we are here together also driving that. This was my last slide, and with that I would hand over to the two use case presentations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Markus. Yes, since we are having time issues, so we will continue directly to utilizing ideas with flexible factory automation. Please, Janne and Ilkka.
Thank you for the interesting presentation so far. I hope you can see and hear me well. Okay, good. So welcome to this session also on my behalf. My name is Janne Kivinen, and I work as a product manager at Fastems. And my product area is especially different digital offering Fastems has to offer. And I could telling you a bit about Fastems in case you don't know what we are doing. So we are a Finnish family-owned factory automation company, and we are delivering factory automation around cutting machine tools. So different kind of metal cutting usually by Fastems automation, and we like to call our automation as intelligent automation. So nowadays Fastems is paying more and more attention to the software offering, and of course the automation is always the combination of the software and we are delivering those both, but nowadays the focus is really more and more on the software side. So how to make the automation do the right things at the right time, and of course all the time, which is in a way the basic nature of every automation solution. And we are really global company, so we are Finnish company, but over 90% of our revenue comes. So we have customers and deliveries all over the globe. I could briefly explain to you our vision to the smart factory. So we can say that if customer purchases Fastems automation, it's usually it's already a step towards the smart factory. Okay. We sometimes we are delivering even like a multi-system kind of deliveries. So you could say that Fastems delivers a smart factory to a customer, but sometimes it's a smaller system, smaller piece of automation with single machine tool and a robot, for example. But still, that's a step towards a smart factory. And in our vision, the smart factory consists of three elements. The machinery, whether it's a machine tool or robots or a stacker crane or something else hardware related. Then there's the data systems. So factory floor is full of different data systems, starting from ERP, CAD, CAM, just to name a few. And then there is the production planning. So customers must have possibility to make the production planning as easy as possible and also automatic, basically. So when you combine these three elements, we get the smart factory, basically. This is our philosophy. And this is something we are doing every day, and we have been doing many years already. But this is now kind of just the starting words to the actual topic of today. So we must remember that the manufacturing takes always place in networks. So it means that it doesn't help that we make one factory or one single factory as smart as possible.
Janne,
so what is happening in the network, not just inside one factory. So basically in the okay.
Yeah.
Can you see and hear me now?
Understand, yeah.
Still, okay. So yeah, I was explaining this slide. I believe it's better that I do like a quick recap about this. So so manufacturing always takes place in networks. So it's not enough that we just build smart factories. We should also take a look on the big picture, what is happening in the network of those factories. So there are suppliers and there are customers where we are getting the raw materials from the supplier, and then we deliver the machined parts to the next company, who is then maybe assembling the machines and sending them to the end customer. But what is the big picture in this network? And this is actually really interesting question or challenge indeed. And now we have had this kind of a project or pilot project together with in Convergence laboratory, and I will now explain to you a bit about the elements we have in this setup. So basically, first of all, we have here our MMS, which is this kind of manufacturing management software that is orchestrating the manufacturing. So scheduling the production orders and checking the resources, giving commands to the automation. Then there is the Convergence overhead cranes, 2 of those. And then there is this edge computer, which is used for communicating with the other parties in this setup. And then there's this Danfoss light treatment machine, which is actually literally a light treatment machine. There is just a light which goes on when the process or the manufacturing process is active, and this means or tries to imitate production device. So we send the part to the machine, and then the processing starts, and then when the part is ready, it goes to the next step. And these 3 elements here are connected with IDS connectors, and then a private network. Okay, it says here 5G, but actually it's at the moment it's not 5G. It's something like 4.9. But the point here is that it's a private network, a wireless network that has been built to the laboratory, and through this network, these different devices or elements can communicate to each other. And there is also then this kind of external party, so Helsinki or University of Helsinki. So they have like a digital shadow out of this factory, so they can see what is the real status of the production and so on. And this is done internet, so over the public network. So in this setup, we are testing the IDS in the private network, and then also in the public network. And I have listed here some of the motivators for FASTEMs or goals for this pilot. So the first one is of course obvious. So we want to get familiar with the IDS in practice. So we have been say, quite a long time already, but it's still quite clear for us that what the IDS really can do and how to utilize it in practice. So this is the main driver for us to attend to this kind of pilot. The second one is that if I refer to the previous slides about the manufacturing network, so we see that the IDS has great potential in implementing connections between different players in the manufacturing network. So between different factories or different suppliers and customers, we could, for example, share some capacity information or order traceability in the manufacturing network easily. So it would be clear for the end customer to see where are my production orders going, what is the status of those, when I can expect to get the products I ordered 2 weeks ago, just as an example. And we see that now when we have this private network, it's actually a nice way and an opportunity to test the IDS technology and in a safe environment and see what it's all about. And now it's nice that we also have this tryout also over the internet, then that how that will work. So now we are able to see or get different approaches to this topic, this IDS topic. So I'm really excited about this, and the real stuff should start happening any week now during the summer. So then we start. Now we have been basically just planning and building the software, and now it's about the time to implement this whole setup. But now Ilkka, I could give stage to Ilkka, and Ilkka could tell you a bit more about this pilot, and then you will get a better picture what this setup is. Ilkka, please.
Yes. So, hello, my name is Ilkka Niskanen. I work for VTT here in Finland, and I will give a short presentation about the more technical aspects of the use case that Janne just explained. So the same, well, it's not the same picture, but the same idea that Janne just explained to us. So we have a smart factory there, which has a private network, and there's machines supplied by different companies, and they share data with each other using mainly OPC UA interfaces. And there is also a need to share selected data with some external stakeholders. So Janne already mentioned this digital twin provider. So this is the main stakeholder that currently receives or should receive data from this private factory network. In this slide, there is this picture that shows that how we have enhanced or how we are trying to enhance this use case with relevant IDS models and components to support trusted data exchange. So as you can see in the picture, there are dedicated IDS connectors for each of the machines that are currently deployed in the factory. And all data exchange is happening through those IDS connectors. And also the data exchange towards the external data consumers is happening through IDS connectors. So there's a dedicated IDS connector for the digital twin provider, for example. And we have identified several benefits that IDS could bring into this use case. So first of all, the machines and also the companies that are owning the machines, they are able to control that with whom and what data they share. So this is one of the basic features and benefits of IDS. Then IDS provides a systematic way to introduce new machines or companies into the factory. So we don't need anymore any ad hoc or case-by-case integration solutions, but we can clearly state that IDS compatibility is a requirement to join this factory network. Then we can be ensured that the data exchange components address some security requirements. So this is pretty much because of the IDS certification scheme. And finally, we can utilize IDS broker to manage the connector metadata. So, for example, the connectors can easily say that what kind of data resource they can provide for other. So on. Then the third benefit that we identified is that the management of data access and usage policies. So IDS connectors, it is possible to strictly control who can access the data and what the data consumers can do with the data. So what are the limitations for and rules for the data usage and so on. Also with IDS, it's possible to implement this data sharing with external stakeholders. So there was this digital twin of factory example. Also, if we want to share, for example, utilization rate of production machines to support predictive maintenance, this is possible with IDS components. Then establish this trusted data pipeline across factory borders, and also here again this IDS certifications to ensure trust. And the final benefit is the improved interoperability across different data forms and vocabularies. We have machines from different manufacturers, from different companies. They might have different kind of vocabularies and so on. So with IDS, we can also address these kind of or challenges.
Yes,
then
Ilkka, we do not have too much time, so could you wrap up? We still have one.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay. Just this is just to show that what is this OPC UI. So it's a machine-to-machine communication protocol, and that is currently used in the factory. And the challenge is that how we can integrate IDS connectors with these OPC UI implementations. And here is a quick overview of the solution that we have developed. So we have a data provider IDS connector that is subscribing to the OPC UI server that is connected to a machine, and whenever something happens in this machine or in this OPC UI server, the IDS connector number one notices this change, and it sends information about this change to the another IDS connector, who then updates this value update to the OPC UI server 2. Just shows that we are able to implement this OPC UI communication through IDS connectors. And what is the current status is that we now have established this OPC UI data pipeline through IDS connectors. We have used simulated data, but the next steps include that we will validate this configuration factory data in a real or a real smart factory environment. And we will also do some additional improvements to this scenario. For example, we will implement a broker and so on. So this was my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Janne and Ilkka. And with no further words, I'd like to continue with Mikko Sierla, who is opening. Let's see how much time we have after that. So.
Can you hear me?
Yes, your picture is pretty dark, but
we lost the electricity because of the storm outside, so there is quite a heavy weather here in Finland at the moment. So maybe I don't use the video. But yeah, let's share my presentation.
I'm glad to have you here anyhow. I heard that this storm is really bad now.
So let's start. So basically, I'm Mikko Sierla from Vastuu Group, and heading us in the ecosystem building and this internationalization. So we are very local Finnish SME player still in Finland, and we are focusing on data sharing. The main focus for us is the built environment and smart cities, but we are kind of growing and journey towards this kind of cross-sectoral data sharing use cases. And then a little bit about the background. So we have been kind of speaking on these kind of high-level conferences in the Commission during the Estonian presidency and Finnish presidency lately, also in the Germany presidency. And I think we are this kind of use case company that is kind of early on trying to build this kind of data sharing cases together with the surroundings. And this kind of cross-sectoral data spaces and use cases, they are kind of very important if we think about this kind of time where we are living in and these complexities that are surrounding us, and that is kind of the motivation for us to trying to understand and develop these things together. And then also about the trust. So what is this kind of why we are really believing in international data spaces, and also Gaia X and these initiatives are that, okay, how we build and scale these trust elements that are kind of missing over the internet currently, and how we can like speed up the European economy in this context, and the collaboration with VTT during past year and the projects that we really implement these technical solutions is one part of the picture, but of course the technology is only like enabling things, but all the other layers need to be in place in order to really take the full benefits from these kind of technologies that are kind of available. So really, the kind of cross-sectoral use cases are kind of heading towards these systems of systems, and how everything is interlinked together. And I think we are now in the phase where we last year focused on this kind of technology understanding and then really practical implementation together with VTT. And I think now we are more kind of understanding who are the parties who will then take it to the next level, and where is our kind of path to the next kind of cases. So building new cases and understanding where these kind of potentials lies. And then, yeah, I think it's our message is that we are just a small SME, so we need to really find the right partners and grow together and be kind of part of the data space creation and the journey together. So thank you. Maybe this was kind of my short introduction, and I think Ilkka could then open up the technical dimension and what we did.
Yes, Ilkka, please go ahead. It's like you have like 5 minutes or 3 minutes maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I will then skip some of the stuff that I had in the presentation. So I had something about the background, but maybe I go directly to the actual use case. So in this use case, we had 2 data platforms. We had a transportation data platform and a data platform that manages data related to buildings and their energy consumption, and both of those data platforms are deployed in their own private cloud environments. So, and what is the idea of the use case is that we have this Helsinki Regional Transport API, and this transportation data platform, it acquires data from this API. So it acquires data about public transportation routes in different areas, and once it receives this data, it is able to calculate energy consumption and CO2 emission data produced by the public transportation. And then this building an energy data platform, it should request this data from the transportation data platform, and once it receives this data, it is able to combine the data with the data it already has about the energy consumption and CO2 emission produced by buildings in Helsinki. And then because of this data integration, it is able to provide this combined visualizations that includes both building and public transportation related CO2 emissions and energy consumptions. So we thought that this would be a nice use case for IDS, because there's challenges that IDS can address. So for example, identity management, we need a trusted and secure data pipeline, there's interoperability challenges and so on. And so here's the solution that we created. So here the main models are IDS connectors, we have DAP, so dynamic attribute provision service, and then we have a platform of trust, so the pod module. So the pod module was implemented by Vastuu Group, and they designed or created specifically designed ontologies to address the needs of this use case, and they harmonize the data that is exchanged between these connectors. So these ontologies are publicly available. And then we had the DAPS model to provide the federal identity management service, and the IDS connectors to implement the actual trusted data pipeline between these two data platforms. So as a conclusion and summary, we will able to enable this kind of cross-platform, cross-cloud data exchange scenario with IDS models. Then we were able to integrate platform of trust models into this use case, so they enable facilitated the interoperability between different problem domains by developing case-specific ontologies and harmonizing the data using those ontologies. So yeah, so this was the use case from technical point of view.
Thank you very much. Very excellent presentations, and maybe there's a couple of minutes for one or two maybe one question. So Mikko, you are working and now working on your offering in your company. So how do you see that? How do you expect the businesses grow now that? What is the role of IDSA in your businesses? And I know that you have been now thinking about that in your product map, but how do you think about your business in general?
Thank you. Very good question. So basically, it's regarding the trust element. So how we build this kind of bridges towards different companies that we don't know, or different data sets that are not familiar to us. So I think it's in small country like Finland, the elements between the companies and the ecosystem building efforts is kind of one kind of dimension. But when we think about that, okay, if we want to kind of build bridges between Finland and Germany, for example, it's totally different kind of structures and the elements that we are needing. And in these kind of scenarios, the cross-border settings requires this kind of standards and the way international data space is structuring and helping us to also be aligned and develop our kind of portfolio towards this kind of scaling efforts. So in these steps where we are kind of looking at other markets that our home market, this is kind of one great channel for us to really build this portfolio and understand the cases that are kind of lying ahead of us, and for that we are now putting effort during this year and especially during next year.
Thank you very much. I don't know if we have time for any other questions, but just I think we have now seen really nice examples what's going on in Finland, and just 2 of them now, but then very good showing that what does it mean to do convergence in an SME, and also how to grow in bigger companies. So that's very important road to do this exploitation of IDS eventually, and I have heard the same message from other presentations today. If you want to look more about that, understand more about smart autonomy, you can go to VTT booth and take a look at that. There's a video showing that what's going on, and so it's one of our test beds, and take a look at that. So I think I will thank you everybody for this presentations, and I think that we had in the guidelines there was an opportunity to go to breakout room Saturn. I don't know where it is, but maybe someone could guide us. There is I can see only Venus there, so I don't know which planet it is, but so maybe Andreas can show that.
Yeah, well, also Lars just joined us, but to answer your question, Tuomo, the breakout room for you has the catchy name Saturn. And if you want to continue discussions with the audience and receive chat questions, then move to sessions, and then from there to the room Saturn. But Lars, over to you for some thankful words.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks a lot. First for being more than in time. This helps us. Thanks a lot. And more than that, thanks for this great presentations and the deep insights. So we had the event with the Finnish IDS Hub some weeks ago. And that is why I already had a deep insight or deep dive into what you are doing, and this is really great. And it shows and it showcases how well IDS can be implemented. So we really will share all this insight. So in the other session we have presented the use case radar. So as a new tool, so that we can really show what is happening around IDSA and inside IDSA. And these are projects which I would love to see there. I think it is already inserted there. Just to once give the hint again, also to the audience. So these projects are visible and can be an inspiration for you. All of you, thanks a lot. Best wishes to Finland. It's always a pleasure, and we have such a great collaboration on different levels, so implementation and adoption, but also strategic issues. Tuomo, Markus, thanks once again for bringing this community together. The representatives from Vastuu and FastStem, so thanks a lot for trying to bring IDS into operation. That is impressive. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Best wishes to Finland, and see us probably soon. And great.